Hi everyone, it's Kirei here with a new layout for Bella Boulevard, and for this layout I am using the fabulous new Lake Life collection, and I have pulled out a number of pattern papers. I'm sort of going with the blues here. I've got 4 photos of a cruise I went on last year, and there's lots of blue water and lots of blue sky. And I just really like the blue papers. I'm going with this sort of bold stripe. This one is called A Day on the Lake. And then I'm just tearing off a small strip of this pattern paper called Lake Vibes. It's got like blue fish all over it, quite subtle. So I've really distressed the edges, really sort of curled them over, and they're just gonna sit to the left side of the white cardstock. And then I'm going to sort of cascade my 4 photos down the layout and then build embellishment clusters in and around the photos. So I've pulled out a selection of the ephemera from the Ephemera Icons and Words pack. And I'm just sort of playing around and working out where they're going to go. And what's great about this collection, I mean, the collection is obviously called Lake Life. This isn't a lake, it's a fjord, but it's water, and it's in Norway, and there is lots of trees and pines and things like that. So actually, by just pulling out the appropriate ephemera, it works absolutely perfectly. So I've had a play. I've obviously set everything up. I've looked at what I think I'm going to do. And now I can start to get things stuck down. So just get the papers stuck onto the white card, and just really curling them back. I'm tearing a little bit there just to get that sort of distressed edge that creates that extra sort of dimension and texture. I'm pulling out some of the papers here. I'm just working out which one I'm going to use to mount my photos on. I did think about the yellow to sort of add a bit of a contrast, but I decided I thought it was just too much, and I've stuck with the subtle wave patterned paper here. So I'll get those 4 photos mounted and trimmed down, and then can get those stuck down, and then it's really the fun part, which is all about the building up the I love adding embellishments and all the bits and pieces. So okay, so distressing the edges, of course I have to do that. I couldn't possibly have sort of straight flat edges. I think pretty much all of my layouts have distressed edges, torn edges, and they're certainly not flat. So here I am, just putting the photos back down, just sort of looking and working where they are. But then I realised that I want to raise them on some foam pads. I started to think about raising them all completely, but because I'm adding embellishment clusters around them, I like to just add the foam pads at the top and then keeping them flat at the bottom. So I'm just sort of rejigging the way they were sitting, and then I can get those stuck down. Just making sure I've got them in the right position. I'm going to check with some of the ephemera just to make sure I've allowed enough space, and then we can get things stuck down and start to work on all the good stuff. And there are lots of fabulous embellishments to coordinate in the Lake Life collection. You've got Puffy Stickers, you've got Epoxy Stickers, you've got enamel dots, you've got the cardstock stickers, you've got those the super cute Bella Pops, and I am going to use some of those. Yeah, so there's loads to work with. Now, what I'm doing here, and this is completely personal preference, I am just trimming off some of the white border, just to create a slightly narrower border. So I have done that now with all of the elements that I've decided to use, and then I'm going to start to get them stuck down. So I'm just sort of pulling things back in, and just sort of remembering where they're going, and then I can start to add them. Okay, glue. I'm nearly down to the end in this glue. I think I'm just about ready for a new one, but just determined to get the last bits out of it. Okay, so what I tend to do as well when I'm sticking the ephemera down is I'm not sticking it flat. I tend to add just a little bit of glue down the center, and then I just sort of curve the edges slightly so that I get, again, some dimension to everything, because as I said earlier, is what I really like to do on my layouts. Nothing is all completely flat. I definitely, more is more in regards to layers and texture and dimension. Um, I'm raising some elements on foam pads, so some of the fish at the top. So one of the fish is flat and the other one is raised on foam pads. And when I say the fish is flat, it's not flat. I've only put a little bit of glue in the middle and I've sort of curled up the tail and the face end so that I keep getting the dimension that I like. Okay, so continuing to build up the clusters there. I've got more of the little trees down the bottom. Again, I'm adding some foam pads to this one, and then the others will sit in and around it. Now, excuse me, my photos were from a cruise I went on last year. It was a Disney cruise, and the ships come over to the Europe in the summer months, and we went. There was 7 of us, I think it was, and they were all. I used to work for the Disney store here in the UK in head office, but sadly I don't anymore. They decided to close the stores, and we were all made redundant, which was very sad. I'd worked with Disney for 23 years, and most of my team all had, you know, crikey, loads and loads of years services. I mean, we had probably 120 years service between us. So, unfortunately, yeah. So we'd left the business, but we had all decided we were going to do a cruise together. So we had this booked, and it was September last year, and we went to the Norwegian fjords, and it was amazing. We had absolutely the best time. And from these photos, you can see, I mean, the weather was absolutely glorious. I mean, the blue skies couldn't have been bluer. And that water, you can't really see it there, but it was crystal clear. It was absolutely beautiful. I mean, one of my team, she was actually paddling in that water there at the bottom, and I mean, you could just see her feet through the water. It was just so crystal clear. Um, so yeah, it was absolutely beautiful. It was such a lovely time, and absolutely we need to do it again. It was so good. So I did think, I've got plenty of cruise photos to scrap, and I just keep pulling them out every now and then. And as I said earlier, they worked perfectly with this collection, even though it's lake life. There is so much to choose from that absolutely works well with these photos of the water and of the beautiful scenery as well. So that's what I've done here. Really, I've pulled out the trees, some flowers, some foliage, but then I've also added fish as well because we've got the water. So I've just sort of tried to sort of mix the two. Here's some of the Bella Pops. I've got a couple of these lovely raised layered flowers. So what I'm trying to do is just add a little bit of yellow to the different clusters because just to add a little bit of extra colour. And I'll do that with the flowers. I've got the fish over on the left there. Down the bottom, I've got the white flower with the yellow centre. And then at the top, I will add another fish up there. There's another yellow fish that goes up the top. Oh, here we go. I just went back and added a few bits and pieces in. So I think that's my embellishments pretty much down. I've added a few more splashes from the Puffy Stickers. And the top yellow fish is also from the Puffy sticker as well. And now I'm bringing in my title, and I'm going to call it Sunshine and Fjords. And I'm using I love this alpha, the Florence Alpha in the blueberry to say and Fjords. So the Sunshine is from the Ephemera Words, and I've raised that on foam pads. And then I'll just get that stuck down. And I've brought in that fabulous Bella Pops sun. It is so, so cute. I love it. And it's really lovely raised. And I'm just sort of playing around with where I want it to sit. But I do move it over a little bit. Okay, and now I've brought in some of the epoxy dots called Blue Skies that coordinate with the collection. I'm just adding little groups of 3. I start with 2s and 1s, and then I actually make them up to 3s. So yeah, I'm just adding those in and around the layout, and then I'm pretty much done. I think that's about it. I do add some journaling below the title. I'll do that off camera. Okay, so I think I'm just getting those last few dots in. Typically me, I am fiddling around here with them, can't quite decide where they're going to go, but I think I'm almost done, and the close-ups are coming up in just a moment. Here we go. They're final layout, the journaling at the bottom, and I finally decided where the sun was going to go. Here's the close-ups of all the little details. I hope you've enjoyed watching this process video. I had lots of fun creating with the fabulous Lake Life collection. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you again soon. Bye for now.